Okay, so for covering our sketchbooks to create an antique effect, you are first going to just get your sketchbook. This is one I'm recycling. Yours will probably be white. You are also going to get some Model Magic, and the goal here is to create some interesting raised designs for the front cover of your book using your Model Magic. You can think about maybe you want a design in the center that works its way out. Maybe you want to create some embellishments in the corners. We are only going to do this on the front cover, so you can use as much Model Magic as you have. If you need to use less, that's also fine. So one of the first things I'm going to do is take this Model Magic and start to create some coils. And I'm going to use those to create some edges on the corners of my sketchbook for some embellishments. So first thing to do there is you're just gonna kind of stretch it out and then roll it into that rope or coil. And I want them to be a semi-even thickness, so my design looks uniform throughout. You just have to keep rolling the ends until it looks consistent and even. So it needs to go quite a bit farther here. Okay, once you have your coils rolled out, then you are ready to start placing them. I always say place it, then paint it again. So this way we can move things around and position them. I'm gonna try just kind of seeing how it would look if I placed maybe some interesting embellishments in each corner. Maybe I have the edges kind of swirl up. Maybe you wanna make something very specific like a face or something. I'm gonna kind of pinch the bottom corner there together just to make an interesting little heart swirl shape. Okay, so I'm gonna continue a similar design like that around. So for right now, I'm just gonna place it. I don't need to glue it down until I'm happy with where it's going to be at. So take some time to move things around, find where they're going to look the most interesting. Okay, and then we will be covering these later on with a tissue paper and then finally adding paint to get that antique effect. So we aren't concerned about color at this point. We just want to make sure we have some interesting forms that pop up from that base surface of our sketchbook. Maybe we even want to do like an initial or something. That would be kind of fun to do using the coil method. So just whatever comes to mind. I'm going to go ahead and roll. I got a little bit left, a bigger coil on this one. I'm thinking of like insignias or like family crests often have like the family name on them. So I'm gonna try and make like a fancy M here. One of the things I really like about Model Magic is you can really stretch it a lot. So try that out if you feel like you need a little bit more. If your coil's a little too short or something, you can stretch it pretty well without concern of it breaking. So I'm just gonna kind of position the M. I'm gonna go ahead and pinch the middle there. Just gonna give it a little bit more interesting shape. I'm gonna kind of flatten it too. Could leave it more raised or you could flatten it down a little bit more. And then just kind of thinking of where else I wanna place some things. Okay, now nothing is stuck down at this point, remember, so it's very open-ended still here as far as what I want it to look like. Okay. Just kind of trying out some stuff here. Okay, so that's looking pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna do, I only have this much left, so I'm gonna do maybe like a fun little kind of swirl in this corner here. Okay, so now that I have everything placed how I want it to be, the next thing to do is you're gonna get your Mod Podge and your long handle brush, and I'm just going to paint where each piece is gonna go. Before you do that, please grab a scrap paper because we don't want Mod Podge getting over the edges of your cover and then sticking to your pages. So put a piece of scratch paper inside to cover and protect your pages. Now I'm going to take my Mod Podge and I'm just going to carefully pick up each area that I've stuck down, and I'm just going to paint that general area of my cover and then stick my Model Magic down to it. And to just kind of help it to stick a little bit, I'm going to put another quick little coat over that. Okay, I'm gonna work my way around picking up each little design that I've added. Oh, and you can see that's why it's good to have your protector thing. If you get blobs over the corner, try to clean them up, which is what I'm doing right now. You don't want to leave them on there because it's possible it want to stick to the paper underneath the cover as well. So just try and be mindful and clean anything up if you get a lot of drips. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the M here. I'm going to scooch that whole thing off and just paint this whole area. I feel like that would be easier, and then reposition it. Okay, and you will notice Model Magic does stick to itself, so that's one thing to kind of deal with. If you don't want it to do that, well, then you got to kind of keep them separated a little bit better. Sometimes that can work in your favor if you're wanting to build up something and you don't want to have to worry about it falling apart. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just do a quick little layer over top of these. Trying to be careful not to smush anything, trying to spread out my glue. Model Magic and the decoupage. Okay, got this little swirl over here. Okay, so that would be the end of day one. We're now gonna have to kind of let it dry, and then next step will be to add a cover over top of our book.